Elizabeth writes about her numbness after the death of her husband, and she explains, I wasn't sad, I wasn't angry, I wasn't even broken. I was simply nothing. And that's what scared me more than grief ever did. Elizabeth was known for her composure, you see. She was professional, precise, polished. On a quiet morning, she stood at the post office drop box and released a stack of thank you cards, one by one, listening as each envelope disappeared into the metal chute. There were no tears, no expressions. Her posture was tight, her heels are grounded, her shoulders are back, and her chin is lifted, like a woman on a mission to prove that she could handle whatever life had placed in her path. Within a few days, she explains, everything will be properly acknowledged, thanked, and dismissed, just like I planned it to be. Every morning, Elizabeth began the same way. She stared into the mirror and spoke to herself with quiet authority. Elizabeth, get your wits about you and pull your bootstraps up. Prepare for the battle for the day ahead. She winks at her reflection and grabs her coat and headed out the door. She had learned this discipline early. You see, her mother had modeled it well. Straight laced, impeccably groomed, lipstick always perfect. It was her signature. There were no tears, no mess, no visible grief when Elizabeth's father died, and protocol was followed. Emotions were not. Elizabeth often wondered what her mother did behind closed doors. Did she cry after all of us kids were asleep? Did she scream alone in the car? Or did she break something in the quiet of the night? She'd never know. Her mother had been dead for 18 years now, and somehow her mother's way of grieving had become Elizabeth's inheritance. 18 months after her husband's death, Elizabeth still had not cried, not once. She had survived the first year, the holidays, the birthdays, the anniversaries, and people stopped calling. The casseroles had ended and life had moved on. Today was her birthday. She had stopped at the store for a cake mix. Cupcakes, they felt manageable. They had never had children, so there was no family to gather around her now. It's just a small celebration of one. As she stood in the aisle, something caught her off guard. I don't have any friends anymore. They had always socialized as couples. The dinner parties, the game nights, movie outings. After her husband had died, invitations, they slowly disappeared. The first year, people tried to set her up as if he could be replaced. And when she declined, they stopped trying altogether. Ah, I'm that widow woman now, she whispered. Standing in the cereal aisle, her mind drifted, like it always did, back to the memories that played on repeat when she tried to sleep, when she drove, and when she stood still for too long. Her mind captured the last birthday she spent with him. Blow out the candle, sweetheart, he said, smiling. May all your wishes come true. He kissed her forehead and wrapped his strong arms around her waist. She had always melted right there, safe, loved, and known. Suddenly, her knees buckled. Elizabeth just simply collapsed right there in the cereal aisle. Tears poured out, violent, unexpected, like a dam breaking. She fought the urge to scream as sobs clawed their way to the surface. Oh God, what's wrong with me? She gasped. I came in here for a cake mix. I'm standing in the cereal aisle. She ran through her familiar checklist under her breath. She repeated, I'm not sad. I'm not angry. I'm not broken. I'm not crazy. Then the truth landed. I don't feel anything. And that's what scares me more than my grief. And it was at that moment that Elizabeth realized she hadn't shed a single tear since her husband died 18 months earlier. She had built an invisible wall, one that kept others out and kept her locked inside. People had called it strength. But standing there, she knew it was a lie. She made it to her car and sat in silence. Then, for the first time in a long time, she prayed, God, if you're there, if you're listening, I think I've shut myself off and I don't know how to come back. A quiet comfort, it just began to settle over her. Healing, it doesn't arrive in happiness, it arrives as tears, then breath, and then honesty. She realized that she needed to forgive her mother for the way she was taught to grieve, being strong. It's no. She needed to forgive herself now for surviving the only way she knew how. And that day, Elizabeth opened a journal. She wrote slowly, honestly, and over time. It took nearly a year, but feeling didn't destroy her. It gave her her life back. So, in closing, I'll simply ask, if you haven't cried yet, if you feel nothing at all, you're not broken. You may just be protecting yourself until it's safe to feel again. And just remember, a turning point for Elizabeth, she realized she shut herself off and she doesn't know how to come back. And healing, it doesn't arrive in happiness, it does arrive in tears, then breath, and then honesty. So, in closing, just know that feeling doesn't destroy you, it will give you your life back when you're ready. And this concludes the very first episode of Numb to New. And my prayer for you is that you'll continue to come back. This is a safe place. And this is bye for now.